Yo. Yo. It never ends in the XRP world. I am Optimus Prime. What's cooking? Good looking. What's up, guys? How we feeling today? Yes, he's supposed to be addressing that. We're on it. We're on it. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We're on it. We're waiting. We're waiting. We gotta see. That's why we went live today. We gotta see what's gotta see. Hopefully I gave enough time for everyone to stroll on in, but I don't know. There's quick notice. People gotta be quick. You gotta be quick with the notifications. You know, especially in this space. In this space, anything can happen. This all happened overnight. We were all sleeping safe and sound. Safe and sound. We were sleeping in our beds and Delta Force was going in, scooping them up. They scooped them up. That's it. That's it. He's done. He's done. This is insane. Yet again. There's so many different angles and conspiracy and fraud and money and alliances and blackmail. It's the ultimate. It is Game of Thrones on a much more insane scale than anyone can even imagine. There's a good movie that I've been wanting to watch, apparently called Eyes Wide Shut. And what Eyes Wide Shut does is kind of let you peek into the elite and how they operate behind doors. Like all these weird things you hear about. You walk, like Bobby Lee. Say what you will about Bobby Lee. He's a comedian. And he went to some like elite party or something at one of the comedy clubs, and they were saying, don't go up in that room up there, like stay down here, whatever. He ended up going and trying to find the bathroom or something, stumbling upon that room, opens the room, sees a bunch of people in there doing a seance in hoods and shit. That's just on the smaller scale, dude. Dude, you haven't seen? No, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. That's one that's just been on my list for the longest time. The longest time I've wanted to see that. Hit the like button. You gotta hit the like button as you enter the chat. I gotta keep this tab open, otherwise we'll miss it. Because the live stream will start. He ain't gonna give everyone a minute. He's just gonna go right on into that. So we gotta keep our eyes on that. Eyes Wide Shut is kind of boring. I rented it on Thanksgiving and passed out. But the videos on YouTube are interesting though. Yeah, I'd probably rather watch that then, because that's what I mean. Like it seems a cool concept in theory, but yeah, it does seem something that might be a little boring for a movie. But who knows? Grab a cocktail and watch it tonight. I'm not a cocktail guy. I'm a weed guy for sure. Hit a little bit of the spliff before going live. We're gonna need to be able to digest any of this, what's going on. A couple of hits in the J and that's my thing. He's going to be bricked out when he goes live. Classic Kubrick move. Lots of hidden secrets and symbolism. Like Bearable Guy. What if that guy is Bearable Guy? This is so insane, dude. Just literally, when we're going up, and then they launch they launch it on the full. Is it a coincidence? The full moon? They launch this on the wolf moon, the full moon, whatever's going on. 589 at New Year's. There's just a lot of weird stuff going on. David Schwartz sticking himself in the bikini. A lot of weird shit. It is a very slow movie. It's all revealed at the end, yeah. I mean, no, but Knives Out's a great movie. I love Knives Out. The second one's even interesting to an extent. Not as good as the first one, but they rarely are. And then he just came out with a third one. That's how you steal the oil and minerals you want. It's even more complicated than that, because it's interesting. It's interesting that your boy BB met for the 4,000th time this fucking year alone. Dude's always there. He sees BB more than like I don't even know. And then this happens. 3 days later. This happens 3 days later. And then you see who they kind of want to put in there. And you see where she's from. Take a wild guess. WEF. And yeah. The rest is history. The rest is history. That's just like one of the many thousand intricate layers of what is going on geopolitically. And then apparently a couple of China guys were there for diplomacy, some shit like that. They were there. And then hours later, I don't know if that's true. You'd have to fact check that too. So that's crazy. It's Iran and Russia. Why China? They aren't involved. Well, the oil is. They were there for meetings with Maduro. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, the Chinese delegates. New. Wait, what? Woo. What a message to Z. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's ballsy. One sec. I've been offline for a week, dude. You can feel like you miss years worth of news in a week at this rate. It's so unhealthy for the human mind. It's so I mean, it's good to be informed and whatnot, but it's just like, oh man. Jay Claver was wrong, eh? What do you think? We got fucking, dude. We have a long way to go, guys. We got a long way to go. If anyone's ever promoting to get rich quick, get rich overnight, you gotta rethink what's going on. LOL, it's 99.999%. Oh man. Yeah, this world is, we are in a fucking, excuse my French, we are in a frickin', doozy. We're in a doozy right now. They got all these WEF guys entrenched, and Schwab, he was even up on stage bragging about it. He goes, "We penetrate the cabinets and then we do what we want." That's basically what he said. He literally said, "Penetrate the cabinets." That's crazy, because that's who Trudeau was connected with. I don't know if the new guy up in Canada is connected to WEF at all, but Trudeau was. Because they're all over the place. It's very interesting, to say the least. Everyone's over here. I don't know. Trust me, I know, Mike. I live in Canada. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How you guys doing up there now? Is it any better? Yeah, Canada's compromised. I think unfortunately we are all compromised. You look at. They say look at the countries, right, that all these problems are going on. You look at with the largest oil reserves, and then you can count a full handful of them that we're messing with because they don't have a Rothschild bank. Great country, but sold out. Damn. Carney was deep banking ties, probably WEF. Yeah, that's really where you gotta look. Claver cult members got really sensitive if you say anything negative about them. Yeah, no, they for sure do. It's because it's the weak minded thinking get rich quick, get rich quick. It's even crazy because, like I said, he's like, oh yeah, these happen if only if these catalysts occur. Okay, all right, so that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You're basing it on if XYZ happens. That's cool. But then none of them happen. But then you continue like Last Stand in Call of Duty. You're on the ground with a pistol. And you're like, oh no, I don't know, I'm still 99.9. Like, you know. Oh, that is true. They are grabbing our land here in Canada. Who is? Just glad to see $2 again. Yeah, we'll be below that. I'm sorry to say. I'm not trying to be negative. Something in my bones. I think we'll see below 2. We're already teeter-tottering onto like a tightrope. Because yet again, guys, just when we go up, we get hit with this. It's never, that's what I'm saying. We all kind of knew this was coming, but it is always something. It is always something. That's why when people think, oh, January, the Clarity Act's getting done, it's not getting done in January. That's just a given. The potential government shutdown, even though the likelihood is low right now, Anything happens in this fucking news cycle, I don't know what are people thinking. With his firm is in a tenuous spot, Matt, yeah, it's odd. Doctor options, I'm definitely in agreement with you that. From the first time you guys told me about who even was in the chat, I'm like, I don't know, I've been in the space long enough, something doesn't smell right, you know? I was down with him saying oil and carry-on wine, but at Big E Files, that was a tell. Yeah. I mean, Zach Rector brought up a good point today. He goes, ironically, with what just went on, it's probably going to bring oil prices down dramatically. That's the irony. You bought more yen this morning? Hey, there you go. Is the Venezuela stuff going to impact anything? I mean, I don't got a crystal ball, but I mean, yeah, this is kind of a big deal. I mean, they got a lot of oil. And then people were trying to say, go into the implications of it, which you should. Something about they were saying Venezuela's oil supply actually isn't that great because it's a different kind, and then the whole process to make it what you want it to be is expensive. So it's not a total slam dunk, but I think it's just more him and BB calling the shot, or BB calling the shots. That's just unfortunately what it seems like, unfortunately. Zach Rector has been wrong his whole public life. He has no right to roast no one. And people were saying Zach pees when he sits down in my comments and stuff. I was like, bro, I got no clue what his business is down there. None of these geeks know what's gonna happen. Just kick back and enjoy the theater. That's what we're waiting for right now. Johnny Sizzle Chest. Johnny. Third largest reserve in the world, Saudi, Venezuela, and Canada. Yeah, I know it's up there. The minions fighting each other over their master. Yeah, they're tripping over each other. Yo, he always shows up mad late too. He said, yo, we're already a half hour behind schedule, yo. Imagine they ever drug him out of there on national TV. Whoa. That would be scary shit. There's no way they would do that, right? There's no way. I forget that guy's implications with everything too. That's what I mean. There's just too much to keep track of. Agreed. However, Zach Rector was much less wrong than Jay Clever. He predicted $10. When it happens, it happens. Vennies are out in the streets celebrating. I know. They're very happy. Even ones in the US, yeah, just all over. They're happy. More or less is what I'm seeing. There's other people, you know, who feel a certain kind of way about it. It's all about perspective. Another regime change failure in the works. We've done this for decades, and it only gives the world more problems. Yeah, same playbook, and you look who's involved. Who's the common denominator amongst all these? Yeah, for real. The lucky. The thing is, this was easy for them. This was light work. More or less. You know what I'm saying. So they could that's a type of like poke. I'm gonna poke you and you can't do poke. You can't do nothing. So I think it would be better for them to capture them instead of giving them the pager treatment, depending on what narrative they want to send out to the world. It's been going on since life started. Kings have stolen land and minerals and other centuries. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. It is nothing new, and people like to pretend it. I mean, yet again, everything evolves, but at the core of it, it's still that. It's humans. It is humans, and what have humans done since the dawn of time? Club each other to death. You got what I want, I'm gonna take it. It's a clown world. It's literally world to stage. It's so scary, dude. Hey, but on the bright side, I think the markets, yet again, I think the markets in 2026 at some point, I think they're going to be real good for us. We're already seeing, you know, that pump from yesterday. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's an interesting pump that yeah, you get this pump in anticipation, like they know this news is coming. You know, very interesting. Why is the market pumping on a Friday? Yeah, it's almost like they fucking know, you know, this is going down that night. So now you gotta ask the question, why? Was this to actually sell the news moment, or is he gonna come out there and say something that benefits the markets because now he's already been spouting off? I saw a couple of tweets saying how the US is gonna be heavily involved in the Venezuelan oil market. So could it be good for markets? Could it be, depends how people want to look at it. I think everyone's just kind of sitting and waiting to see if there will be any repercussions, which, who knows? Yeah, in attacking directly towards China. It was definitely a message. It was definitely a message. Yeah, kind of like if you go for Taiwan, fuck around, find out. That's kind of what that was, especially since those, the Chinese, what'd you guys say, diplomats, something like that? They were there that same day. That's scary. That's Donnie's always late. Yeah, he's always fashionably late, dude. He treats this like the Muppet Show. All about the message, lol. After fucking around, find out. Yeah, I think he just said that earlier. Yo, cruising across West Texas, listening. What's up, Mike? Yo, Robert. Shout out West Texas. China will make a move on Taiwan soon. They'll probably wait for Iran to close Strait of Hormuz first. Yeah, but dude, it's just like, we all think that's another one that we known, and everyone thinks they've been prepping for it, which they have. That's the start of World War III, is it not? That's what's scary about that one. If that one happens, that seems like the end. I know that sounds very dramatic, doomsday type shit, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, I just see that sparking everything off. That's the moment that changes everything. Oh yeah, it's definitely way more about the oil. Dude, they use every excuse in the book since the dawn of time yet again for all these regime change wars. At the end of the day, there's money to be made from that war. That's why they do it. The weapons contract is the oil, the drugs they steal, like they steal it all. Forget if it was during Iran or Iraq. The fucking production of it shot through the roof. Not the end, it's the reset. So, but okay, so say they take that. What's the repercussion? The U.S. is gonna sit down and take that. The whole main thing about the fucking Taiwan scenario is because the chips. Yeah, that I don't know if that's, but yeah, like they're building this whole monetary system and everything. They want to transition. So how do you do World War III and then? It's crazy. No, I didn't do the conference yet. We're still waiting. Oh, wrong thing. Whoops. Drill. Bro, my first live. I usually watch the recorded version. Good to be a yo. What up, Knives Survival? They take Taiwan. Us, U.S. takes Iran. It's shaping up like that. We were seeing troops move about in that kind of area. UAE involved, something like that. Been seeing troops mobilize over there. U.S. would have to send a carrier group into South China Sea. China has hypersonics. Carrier group would be sitting ducks. Yo, that's what I mean. At that point, it's over. At that point, is that when Project Bluebeam comes in? Because at that point, no, that's max fear. That's max fear. Like COVID and everything, they try to push max fear. But that's the ultimate. Holy fuck. Who knows? So if they did want to ever, that reset you're talking about, you could scare the world into doing anything. Yeah, I don't know if the photo of him in the handcuffs is real. What up, Link? We have NVIDIA. What? We have NVIDIA, Analogic Intel, etc. The only countries they attack are the ones that are not controlled by a Zionist central bank. I said that earlier, dude. I said that earlier. I go, you look at the countries that are sitting on fat stacks of oil and shit, and they don't have, yeah, they don't have this fucking bank. They don't have the bank. What does that tell you? Is anything real? AI can fake anything. That's what I'm saying. No one knows anymore. We're already at that point. At least me. At least me. Trying to see if anything's popping off right now. We will bring the end. Who is this? Who is this? Oh, the Iran Supreme Leader? Yo, he's tweeting, we will bring the enemy to its knees. Who's the enemy? In his case, like, who does he actually want? Who does he want out? Who's the enemy to that guy? It's too much to keep track of, bro. Too much. Yo, this guy said that? Yo, who is the enemy? Cause, uh-oh. Coming soon. Oh, no. Yo, are they going for this guy next? Is that what's happening? They're just gonna go around and scoop him up? Was this also an indirect flex to that guy? That, hey, we'll come and get you. Oh, God, yo, the threads on this are so crazy. In 2026, H-bar might be following the same course. I'm not, maybe I should look into some H-bar. Maybe I should. Flare. What about Flare? Oh my God, did you guys remember we showed, hey, lower this. Remember we showed the quote-unquote world's highest IQ guy, and he just randomly came out of the, he spawned like an NPC, comes out talking about pro XRP this, pro XRP that, all this shit, and without ever actually saying anything of substance. And yeah, he's a scammer. Yo, guys, smash the like button. We got 100 people in here, 33 likes. What are we doing? Oh, he's live. Oh my God. Fuck. Yo, he goes right into it. Give me a chance, motherfucker.
Late last night and early today,
shit. I'm going.
at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones, like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation of the Iran nuclear sites just recently.
Yeah.
In an operation known as Midnight Hammer.
Damn.
All perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly, in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off due to a certain expertise that we have.
Whoa.
It was dark, and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. It's Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight.
You think he goes for Colombia next?
Breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days,
Afghanistan withdrawal was bad.
A respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea.
It should go down.
They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see.
When they make the movie.
Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes,
This was light work for them.
people involved in that fight.
Light work.
But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far, with capabilities and skills our enemies can scarcely begin to imagine. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average, 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%.
What up, Zerp?
And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as we're going to run it, essentially, until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time.
Whoa.
They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place.
Oh, my God.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much bigger wave, actually.
Whoa, dude.
This was pinpoint, but we have a much bigger wave that
Yo.
probably won't have to do.
He's
This
sending a
partnership
message.
of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants to be involved with because of what we were able to do and accomplish, will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans, hundreds.
I mean, they just took one of the top oil suppliers.
Thousands of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now, they're on a ship. They'll be heading to, ultimately, New York, and then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida.
Yummy.
But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of their crimes will be presented in a court of law. And I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region.
Well, look what happened to him.
In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over, in particular, the United States. Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang, Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide, and he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete, and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist attack a few weeks ago.
Insane.
A little bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, 2 a week.
He's trolling.
In Washington, our capital. We don't have that anymore.
He's trolling.
Restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going, they're walking their daughters. They're walking their children, their wives. They walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening
Here comes
all
the
over
regular
Washington,
speech.
D.C.
That's exactly what's going on.
I want to thank the National Guard. I want to thank our military. And I want to thank law enforcement. Been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%.
Damn.
And,
if that's true, I don't know.
The governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know.
Wow.
A certain very nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. And it was a rough section, and we have crime down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing.
Now our regularly scheduled programming.
2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We did a very small help because we had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster. But
I'm praying he somehow mentions crypto.
We're pulling out of there when they need us. We'll know.
Delusional,
You'll
ideally.
know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on.
LA's too far gone.
Head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires.
Battle
LA.
LA.
They had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities.
You think they're going for Cuba next, huh?
We're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country.
Is now the global currency.
But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were. I
don't know if we have no idea what he's going to say.
Tren de Aragua.
He's a stone-cold maniac.
They were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years, I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really,
one of the worst. Track.
One of the worst. They say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungary. What happened to her?
No, what happened?
They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Tren de Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn. And
still on Greenland.
Left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge.
Yeah.
A bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar.
Rubio's starting to shuffle.
A little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions.
I need to know more about the Rubio guy.
They were
I don't know
too
too much.
They were drug
Is he
kingpins.
WEF?
They sent everybody bad into the United States, but no longer. And we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela...
Guys, hit the like button, too, please.
Unilaterally seized and stole American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars.
Billions.
They did this a while ago, but we never had a president that did anything about it. They took all of our property. It was our property. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, so we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries. And not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. And the Monroe Doctrine is a big deal. But we've superseded it by a lot. By a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Monroe Doctrine.
What the fuck?
We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen.
A lot.
So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs they've made our country rich, and they've made our national security stronger than ever before.
Why can't we afford
But these
anything?
are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And
forget about it.
We're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders. We will stop the terrorists. We will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever.
Oreos at $8, man.
But I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just, fair, even to their people.
Whoa.
The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone, and Venezuela people are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safer nation. This morning, it's a prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. And the Western Hemisphere is right now a much safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here.
We should be getting lower oil prices.
General Raisin Kane, he's fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice.
Whoa, for truth and justice.
And I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Better. Come on, we wrote it on a tissue.
Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the president said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men. And I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans
Shout out Raisin Canes.
Stood watch last night. Our warriors are the elite of America, and again, President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display.
He freaks me out when he stands like this, dude.
Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around, and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country.
Oh, yeah?
Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us.
Get it out of the grocery
stores.
stores.
About reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is America first.
Yeah.
This is peace through strength. And the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it.
Well, I bet you are.
2026, and under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our Chairman Raising Cane, to give a few more details about the operation, Mr. Chairman.
Is this the Raising Canes? Who the fuck is this guy?
Thank you.
Who is this guy?
Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President. And
is he the general?
Morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists, and we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose, to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise.
I don't think any did.
Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets. In early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events.
Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel.
Jake's
so as
insider.
the president said, they could be brought to justice. And as the president said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the president to order us into action.
Yeah.
Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean,
Guys, hit the like button
mountain,
real quick.
low
Do me a
cloud
solid.
ceilings. But when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time last night, the president ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49, and there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers, and began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members
if
of
I'm
the
just listening to
interagency
them.
to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy,
Hoorah.
the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, EA-18s, E-2s, B-1 bombers, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force.
This is not
and
helping
get
our
them to the
bags.
target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved
Not
with
hurting
speed,
either. That's a good point.
precision, and discipline towards their objective, and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force
This will
while
help our bags.
apprehending the indicted persons. On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit but remained flyable, and as the president said earlier today, all of our aircraft came home, and that aircraft
Spotless.
remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure.
We're doing this on a
Helicopters
Saturday.
were called in to exfiltrate
Saturday morning
the extraction
cartoons.
force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela. The force successfully exfiltrated and returned to their afloat launch bases, and the force was over the water at 3:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with indicted persons on board, and both Maduro and his wife were embarked aboard the USS Iwo Jima. In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that we cannot get it wrong. Our jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world. I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent them here.
I gotta pull that up. Hold up.
There is simply no mission too difficult for these incredible professionals and the families that stand by them.
Yo, Opulence. Yo, with the super chat, the fitty.
Our forces remain in the region at a high state of readiness, prepared to project power, defend themselves, and our interests in the
Great
region.
channel, Mike. Look up Albert Pike. I've heard about Albert Pike.
Is a testament to the dedication and unwavering.
Let me load this guy. We get the picture with this guy. This General Kane, Raisin Kane, bro. The Illuminati plan for 3 world wars written on August 15th. Working down to the T, World War III. An interesting one. Happy New Year, sir. Yo, Opulence. Yo, I appreciate that super chat, bro. I appreciate that a ton. Absolute goat behavior. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President.
Let's see what this guy's saying. Yo, I appreciate that. That's honestly really kind.
Add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those 3 recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union and multiple countries around the world. He is a fugitive of American justice with a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let anybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when he tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody.
How about that
Talk
oil,
and
though?
meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Is that a message for Cuba, Mr. President?
Damn, dude. Go get him a little stool he could stand on.
Please. Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're
Can't
gonna
hear the
make sure
questions.
it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but that's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a minor flow. It was actually a minor flow for what they have.
Now it's going to be a major
We're going to
flow.
run it properly, and we're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure
Hey,
the
Cass.
people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Mary Lou.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right.
I bet they do.
Run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official
Yes,
to coordinate?
it's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
Would run Venezuela.
Well, it's largely going to be for a period of time the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead. You know, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others. We have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in
The
our
51st
country
state.
that were forced out of Venezuela.
Oh, God, you might be
Rubio would
absolutely
be-
right.
You said earlier today that you weren't going
Take
to
the
back
microphone.
Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well, I
going?
understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. He just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
What is that? The
Mr.
WEF
President,
lady?
Colombian President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, he said he's got to watch his ass. And today, he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So, just what your message is
Well,
about
he
that.
has cocaine mills. He has factories where he makes cocaine. And, yeah, I think I stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his ass.
Rubio,
Mr. President, did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
Sure. We call members of Congress.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk
It's
anymore.
not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
Plus, if I
You
could
got
add
him.
one thing to that,
You got him.
Congress has a tendency to leak. This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point. We had a lot of ships out there. They sort of knew we were coming. We
Yeah.
were. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
People to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. The safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. People were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today.
So then they said no one died, though, I
To
thought.
get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds.
Yeah, they definitely went in. Delta mopped
regardless
them
of
up.
how thick the steel was. It was
Mopped
a very
them
thick
up.
door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
Oh, God. Yo.
Go ahead, finish.
To be in the time.
Yeah, none of our guys died. Yeah,
Well,
I got
eventually,
that.
ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards.
Not with
Did
me.
that weigh on your decision?
Well, that's when we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win
have you?
a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight
Bro,
Hammer was.
We just want to buy a house,
right
bro.
now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because
that guy
of
wants to
You
stop
didn't-
paying $40
if we
for
weren't
toilet paper.
successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have
Just basic
peace
shit.
in the Middle East. So
Nothing even crazy.
with me, you've had a lot of victory. You've had only victories. You've had no losses. Yeah.
How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want Venezuelan people to hold elections?
Probably a couple
I'd
months.
like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. We're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow-up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country. Yeah.
Are you saying that Secretary Rubio and
Mr. President,
These fucking idiots running these.
Russia and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when
Well,
it
in
comes to
terms
the
of
oil and
China
drugs?
and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
are you saying, Mr. President? Are
to
you
the people of
saying that,
Venezuela?
Mr. President? Are
Go
you
ahead,
saying
behind
that?
you, please.
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of
That
Venezuela?
you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. If you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country. And they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, the 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms. I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what
You said that already. Come on.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military
They're going
troops
to be
to
a team
provide?
that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have
no,
this
she
done
doesn't.
right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also,
Can we buy a house?
Stress this strongly enough. The people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
In the country, and were any of the detained Americans?
Well, right now they're
arrested
very
last night?
protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
And are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago. Okay, wait, behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. We need that for ourselves. We need that for the world. And we want to make sure we can protect it. Yes, sir, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is there a message
Yeah.
for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now.
Oh, you guys said
That
Cuba
system
earlier.
has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. So suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all of the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba that tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned, it's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there.
Well,
So
people were
that's
saying
an
because he has a personal vendetta for Cuba.
The answer is yes. Yes. No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President.
Audio.
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect within the
Mr. President,
leader.
is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years?
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial, so it's not going to cost us anything. We will. Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what that was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look. It was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year, is going to be a great thing, and the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Going to send in the U.S.
military. Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the
Well,
US
I don't want to
at
get
war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations with him, and I said, you got to surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
You said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing behind me, and they felt that that man was persecuted and treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
You referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that
Well,
country?
no, we're going to have a presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela. And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr.
Unless it's a
President.
bad question, in
It's
which
about
case I'll
Putin.
go one word. It's about who?
It's about Putin, if you want.
About Putin. Well, that's always nice to talk about Putin.
You had a phone call with him
Yeah.
on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people. I thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours, and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1/4, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace. So I only give.
All right, I'm
1/4.
back.
I
What
thought
did I
the
miss?
easiest one would be, one of the easier ones would be Russia.
What did I
Ukraine.
miss?
It's not, and they
Russia,
both
Ukraine?
have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's
Oh, it's all
Biden's war.
blurry.
That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month 30,000? It was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of munitions. We send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings. They come from 2 places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life
Art
is a
of the
big
deal.
deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities throughout, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making progress, but That's a war that should have never happened. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was Joe Biden, Zelensky, and Putin. I came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general and our people involved,
Raising Cane?
That war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you. That war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath.
Whoa.
And we want it to get stopped. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, that's it? He's dipping? Shout out Raising Cane's brought to you by. That's it. He's dipped, bro. That's it. No more dip on your chip. Oh, damn. What a situation. What a fucking predicament we have found ourselves in here, huh? It's quite incredible. Quite incredible where we are standing. I don't even... I just... I don't even know what to say, dude. It's just always something. I mean, who knows? Maybe yet again. We'll find out. I think this year will be a good year, and if we're positioned right. Silver. I do wonder if this push was more in the forefront of the brain because of the looming China situation with silver. So they needed some form of countering that move. The timing just all kind of makes sense. And yet again, the silver market comes back online in China on the 5th. It seems just kind of like a chess move. Yet again, chess move, you got to counter it somehow, some way. The question is, what was this really a distraction for? What's going on elsewhere? Dude, there's all sorts of moving pieces. There's tons going on in the Middle East still. BB just met with Donnie 3 days before this went down. BB's out there talking about how he wants this too. You know, it's a mutual interest. Or just solely his interest. Who knows? Got the silver market. You got the oil market. It's just so much stuff going on. Iran will be next 100%. You think? When do you see that happening? Oil prices should drop because of this. As oil production in Venezuela is going to increase. Yeah, in a realistic world, it should drop the prices. I'm telling you, BB and Saudi Prince, whatever his name is, can't wait for us to go into Iran. Oh, that's always been the end game. That's always been the end game. Got to go pick my kid up from the learning center. Hey. I think Trump will have Israel fighting the Iran front. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna be interesting to find out. Oil prices should go up in China. We will see. Russia has its own, so then why won't they just go to Russia for it? Anyone see the? Yeah, I did see the Coinbase flash up. I did see that. It wicked up to 15 cents, or yeah, like 215, 214. I'm ready to give up on XRP. I don't know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Opulence. Oh, that was a joke about the fraud. Oh, dude. Yeah, there's that going on, dude. It fries your brain how much is going on. It's so... Oh my God. On a Saturday. It was crazy because when he was next to Melania in the silver dress that night, New Year's Eve, and he's like, they're like, what do you want? What do you wish for? And he goes, peace. Yeah, just like global peace, whatever. And then 2 days later, we're doing this. It starts in LDN. Maybe the LBMA will be the trigger. I don't know what those acronyms are. I'm not familiar. I'll die holding XRP. Dude, for real. Greenland, Cuba, Venezuela. Yeah, Greenland is on the list too, man. LOL, been holding too long. I mean, the only way you get rich is by owning assets, so you shouldn't really necessarily look at it as converting it for funny money that devalues, because that ain't how the rich do it. On paper, Jeff Bezos wants like fucking 70 grand income, because income is the scam. Yeah, you're working for income, but income in and itself is the scam. Venezuela is a distraction like Bitcoin. I rotated a small bit of XRP on this push into XLM. XLM is another beautiful position in my eyes. I want that passive income they talk about, bro. You gotta know what you hold. Felt like I got played holding my XRP in a wallet when the crash happened. Well, Stellar is up there with RWA. Stellar is a fucking monster out there. I like Stellar. Let me see. Let me give this a quick refresh. Japan is going all in on XRP. Well, they're going in on a handful of digital assets, but they do have some interesting ties back to Ripple and SBI and giving their customers like rewards. I forget an RLUSD or XRP shit. They do like it. At least SBI. Yeah, was this fucking for real? Yo, there's no way this is real. That's what sucks about AI, dude, because you literally have to question this. Like, I just see this on Twitter. Breaking: U.S. President Trump releases picture of captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. I mean, is that like, I got no clue if that's real or not. I thought it was Dr. Disrespect at first. I'm not even joking. If you know who Dr. Disrespect is, I thought that's who it was. So I scrolled by it. Well, I don't know what you mean by ISO companies. Yeah, dude, I thought it was Doc. Stellar hitting the moon this year too. Cheaper coins at this level have the greatest return on initial return. XLM usually roughly correlates exactly with XRP in my experience. So even though XRP has much more ETF exposure and shit, I still see a relative general climb. Like if we are supposed to get this euphoric type run, I guess, that everyone's talking about, I could see, because I've seen it, dude. I've seen XLM all the way up into the 80s, potentially even 90s, but I remember it was in that upper echelon. So I could see that hitting $1. If we're gearing up for this like rotation of money in the ultimate alignings this year at some point, I could see XLM hitting $1. Fucking witnessed it nearly get there before. He's from Colombia. He was a bus driver in Colombia before he took Venezuela hostage. Yeah, no, I know there's all sorts of crazy in-depth history regarding that entire thing. Yeah, I think Ripple and Stellar just kind of... Hence why he dipped, went to there. I think they just saw a little hole in the equation that needed to be filled, and I think that's kind of what that was. That was the response to a specific problem that needed to be addressed for this whole thing to run smoothly. The power within. The power within. Agreed with XRP and XLM working in harmony. I mean, that's kind of the whole concept of just the interoperability ecosystem. They're all going to have to work in harmony, you know, for this whole thing to run smooth. In the end, they will all work in harmony. eHarmony.com, brought to you by. You think we get a pump 3 months after the ETFs went live like Bitcoin? I don't know. I don't know anything about timelines, but I would imagine we would start. I could see us start moving. Dude, honestly, I keep telling you guys, I have my eyes Monday. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When China comes back online with the silver markets, I think we start seeing some movement. I don't see how we don't. I don't know. I really have my eyes on the silver thing. It's very fucking interesting. XRP is the back end, XLM is the front end. Might call Jake and ask him. You think he would know? Nah, I never seen that video, whatever that is. IHOP. H-bar is the infrastructure build on Web3. I know there's tons of different plays. Wade, Ripple, and Ember Lumen. Yeah, we're just... Dude, I can't believe this is taking place on a Saturday. This does not feel like a Saturday. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm like expecting some XRP news and stuff, but no, it's the weekend, so it's usually quiet on the weekend for that sort of shit. So, I mean, we're sitting at $2. The market doesn't really seem to care. Market doesn't seem to give a fuck unless we find out on Monday. I haven't known what day it is since Christmas. Yeah, it's all just a blur, honestly. We will see Sunday night. Yeah, well, tomorrow. Get some movement. What about the 589 light bulbs? What about them? Hoping Coinbase will include XDC soon. I mean, if there are positions you truly believe in like that and they're not available on kind of mainstream exchanges yet, I would be like taking advantage of that. I don't know nothing about really XDC though. General Raising Cane's, dude. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought I was going crazy. That is his name. Dude, if this picture is real of him, that is crazy, bro. That is crazy if that's real. He's got his Nike tech suit on, bro. That's a nice... the Nike sweatpants are nice. Damn. They got the dock. Yeah, all right, guys. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Turn on all notifications to know when we go live and post YouTube videos. And support on Patreon. Link in the description below. Mad exclusive videos up there. Yet again, going into my plans with Silver, XRP, all this stuff. This upcoming turbulence. This is crazy. This is crazy. Just stay tapped in. That's it. His smoke out party when it hits $100. Yeah, that would be tough, bro. So, yeah. All right, guys. Support on Patreon, and that's it. I will catch you in the next one. I'm sure some more shit. We'll be tapped in by Monday. So, you know it.